can't hear me. Let me just get my, hang on. Let me know if the volume's coming through. You good now? Okay, perfect. All right, volume coming through. We're going to talk the tariff pause. We got till about July, so the time that you're watching this, depending on when you're seeing this right now, they've been paused for 90 days. So we need to plan accordingly. If you are in the market for a car and you have an import, you're shopping for something that will be imported. We can see that the market on these import cars for the next couple months are going to be very volatile. It's going to go up and down. We're not going to be able to have a very stable market outside of, you know, basically the more volatile things are outside, the more serious and stable your strategy needs to be. Because if you're swayed with the market, you are in trouble. You are in trouble if you are swayed with the market, because you're going to believe what they tell you. Dealers, we call them the 80%. Some of you know. If you know about the 80%, type 8. The 80% is who we need to avoid like the plague. When we first started teaching you guys, if you don't know me, my name is Deshone the Auto Advisor. Welcome. Obviously, my last name is not the Auto Advisor, but some people probably think it is because that's what I've been known as for the last 3 years. 4 years, actually, going on. We used to have a strategy where we would teach you how to shop 10 dealers to get 5 offers. And what we started seeing is that 8 out of 10 were either going to be overpriced or not have the car you want. As you come in, it's good to see you, Rosa. Hit that like button and tag a friend. Tag your best friend that you care about. Send this to your best friend. Everybody, if you see that paper plane that you can on TikTok, Instagram, send this to somebody who is you're tight with, because they'll appreciate this conversation, I guarantee you. Rosa, we'll get to it today. So then we saw that 8 out of 10 dealers are going to overcharge you. So if you got 10 Toyota dealers, 8 of them are going to be overcharging you. This is very important to understand. This isn't my opinion. This is based on us shopping for cars all around the country for the last 4 years. Thousands of people we get to work with. We're very fortunate that we get to work with thousands of people in the country at one time, and they're reporting deals to us throughout the year. So some of you guys know I tend to share all of the people like you who've been getting car deals using what we teach. And that's been kind of our, I like to lead with those results because these guys tell me what's happening in the national market. When I see people like Alex who reports, I think Alex is in Florida, he gets his deal, he tells me what's going on in Florida. When I see people who we have in New Orleans, they tell me this is what's going on in New Orleans. So I'm your market report. 10 dealers is not enough to get 5 offers. So we need to look and say, all right, if Deshone is telling us 8 out of 10 dealers are overpriced, then that means we need a system to screen down these dealers and find what we call the 20%. The 20% are the best people in the industry, the best dealers in the industry. The 20% don't care about making a lot of money on each car. They care about selling lots of cars. Whole different environment. Now, when you hear who's ever heard a dealer say that's my best offer? Who's ever heard a dealer say that? That's my best offer. I can't do any more or less than that. Oh, let me go on to Instagram because I need to see what my people on Instagram is talking about. I'm coming, IG. I'll be right there. Here we go. I'm here. Shout out to my people on IG. Where y'all checking in from? I see New Orleans in the house, the big Detroit, Judy Trice. I see y'all on Instagram now. I'm here. But who's ever had a dealer say that? That's my best offer. We can't do any more. Trust me, you're not going to find a better deal than this. It is, that I can't go any lower than that. Who's heard that? I'm going to tell you why You never, shout out to Philly, good to see you, Rosa. You never want to put yourself in a position where you're hearing this in a dealership. The 80% will discount the car, but the original price they're asking, guys, is so high, even after the discount, it's still high. That means you could knock off $5,000. Because psychology, when I was in car sales, they taught us that you guys need, the customer wants to feel like they won. And when a customer can feel like they won, they'll do business with you. It's very important to understand this. They don't need to win. That's a bar. They don't need to win. They just need to feel like they won. Good to see you, Jamel, Abdul, my man. So if you know, if you get that last sentence I just said, then you'll know this is a game of psychology. That's why you could leave a dealership happy and then 90 days later you realize you got ripped off. What happened? You were happy when you left, but something happened that showed you, wait a minute. I had a customer, it wasn't my customer, we were at Mercedes, and I remember we had two customers in the same town, didn't know they knew each other. They're out at dinner one night, they find out they got the same car, their payment is almost $200 different. This is the mental game. What happened here? I left happy. That's why it's not about anything else but one thing. I can't believe what you're saying to me. I need to see who knows my two favorite words. Two favorite words. Multiple offers. Multiple offers. And I'm showing you on the screen so you guys can see that all we teach you to do, I mean, we teach some principles. We teach you about leasing versus buying, which really no one is teaching you about correctly. No one's teaching you about the 8-year rule. If you're not buying cars, you shouldn't be, if you're not keeping them 8 years, you shouldn't be buying them. You should be shopping for below market leases. We'll talk about that in the show because I know that just shivers down some people's spine. Oh, my family told me never lease, Deshone. Dave Ramsey told me never lease. That's the most expensive way to own a car. Yeah, he's wrong. Unfortunately, I like him as a person, as a father. I'm sure he's a good guy. Personally, he's wrong, incorrect, and he's tearing y'all up. He's done so much damage, it's almost unfixable, the amount of damage Dave Ramsey has done teaching people about leasing. But besides teaching you about leasing and these finance principles, we're teaching you how to turn this market into a bid. And everyone else is teaching you to negotiate. It's a big difference. Would you rather negotiate for your best price in one dealer, which is probably an 80% dealer, or would you rather turn a 100-mile radius into one big market that competes for you? Bid or negotiate? And see, that's the difference here. So that's the initial, that's the intro. Just for the new people here, if this is your first time here, we're going to go through a bunch of questions over the next 60 minutes. I'm going to try to get to everybody's questions. We're going to do Rosa first because Rosa said we didn't get to her question on the last live. So we're going to get to Rosa first. And that's the intro because that's the mindset. If anybody is teaching you about buying and leasing cars, but they're and buying new cars or used cars, and they are not teaching you to turn this market into a bid, it's old 2005 advice. If they're teaching you to get on the phone with a salesman and go back and forth and, hey, go take that money off, this is 2005 advice. It doesn't work because you're probably talking to an 80% dealer. The 80% dealers' markups are so high, you're never going to be able to get to a below market offer. But when you turn this market into a bid, now the 20% dealers will reveal themselves. Now you can see, wow, the 25% dealer is the one that's 60 minutes away. And some of you have known that because some of you have gone an hour or two away to pick up your new car because they made you the best deal. Type dollar signs if you've experienced that. While your local market was trying to rip you off. So that's what we do here, all right? So that's the intro. Everything you need is going to be in my new digital book. It's called Cars from Home. It'll be in your inbox in a couple minutes. Normally $97, part of our welcome offer. You get it for $24. And you can get it in my bio on the in YouTube, TikTok bio, Instagram bio, YouTube comments, Facebook comments, $24 for 30 minutes, because I like to reward people that take immediate action. Now, $97 is still worth it. We got hundreds and hundreds of testimonials, but I'd rather you get it for $24. So go there, 30 minutes only, and then come back and let's get your questions answered. And you'll have all the strategies you need in that book. It's a 7-step system. You do it right from home. I got templates in there. I got calculators in there that I invented. That book has been used by thousands of people to own this market, any market. Okay, so let's get to it. Let's get to Rosa's question, Dolan, and then we'll get to as many people's questions as we can. And we'll make this a good stream. And we will talk tariffs, but right now tariffs are paused. So that does give us some leeway, but certainly we will talk about tariffs on this show because we have parts that are going to be coming from China. So don't think that the cars are not going to be a little more expensive, because if they're sourcing parts from China, China is still being tariffed to the tune of right now, I believe it's 125%. So any parts, and there are a lot of Chinese parts, we're going to see cars go up. So that's just what's going to happen. So my question was, what by buying a car in a trust and writing it off? Okay, so this is a question for a trust attorney. So if you're talking about buying a car in a trust, that's not something we're talking about. Probably anonymity benefits, where people put stuff in the trust to protect their assets so that they're anonymous. They don't know who the real owner is. And then there might be some tax benefits there if you're talking about writing it off, but that's a question for a trust attorney, and that's a question for an accountant or CPA. I'm the guy who helps you pay the lease for the car. It's like I tell people who do Turo and ride share, and they listen, you need someone to teach you about the business of Turo, how to stock inventory, how to make sure people aren't damaging your cars, how to make sure, whatever. What are you going to do? Leave roses in the back, make the car smell good. That's the Turo business. But those people don't know how to pay the least amount for their inventory. That's what I do. I'm the person, Cars From Home is the company that teaches you how to pay the least for the actual asset car you're going to get. So you need a team of 2 at least. You need somebody who's going to counsel you on the business, and you need somebody which is us, who's going to show you how to pay the lowest number for the actual car you're going to get. But those are questions for a trust attorney and your CPA. Okay? Any follow-up questions, just type them on in and we'll try to get to them. All right, let's keep them coming, y'all. All right, just so you know, today is Thursday, April 10th, so we are really live. You might be watching this as a broadcast, and if it's a rebroadcast, all of the information is applicable. If we take down a rebroadcast, that means we have deemed that the information in that is no longer applicable, but we realize that 90% of you are in a very common situation that I've seen hundreds, if not thousands of times. So therefore, we replay these shows so that people could get the answers they need, whether I'm live or not. So, but right now, it's Thursday, and so we're live. Go ahead, Dolan. Pull the next one up. Pamela, all I do is win. Good to see you. Jennifer Hyber on TikTok. Good to see you. And if you haven't already, could everyone who really supports what we do here, could everyone share this with someone? We appreciate it. If you support what we do, I always say shout out to the sharers. We could not grow. We could not get this information in the public. We couldn't be impacting the people the way we're impacting. And y'all know I'm going to show y'all some people. Y'all know I'm going to show y'all some people. We talked about Alex. Marie wrote me a couple days ago. She was telling me how she saved $13,000 off her new 2025 GLC coupe. She said, using the guide, which is my book. She got my book. She said, I saved over $13,000 off MSRP. Got my payment to be hundreds lower per month and maintenance included with no money down. Just wanted to say thank you. 2025 GLC coupe fully loaded. Thank you. I tell y'all, write me these emails, y'all. When you get your cars, send me your emails, because what you'll notice about people who email me, they always give me the numbers. because they know it's no way I'm sending Deshone a picture of my car and I'm not sending him the deal I got. The people who send me the pictures of their cars, they didn't work the system because they're not confident in the numbers. The people who send me the numbers, like Marie and like some other people you're going to see, they have controlled the process. They own it and they understand what they got. So shout out to Marie. We got more coming. Go ahead, Dolan. Let's get our next question up. I understand that Mercedes will not pass on a tariff. They will eat it. True. Okay, so it's a good question. So if we have cars being imported from, in this case, Germany, and let's say that the cost of that car coming across the border is $45,000. Now, $45,000 is paid. There's a tax that gets paid to the country. So $45,000 in case if it's 25%, $11,250 gets paid to the country. Now, the importers, the people there who are receiving that car, have to work out who's paying this because it has to get paid. That car is not coming into this country without someone paying the tariff. So if Mercedes decides that they're working with the dealers to say, we are going to lower our price point, $11,000, our profit margin, $11,000, then the prices don't go up. It's that simple. They would have to, and they don't have that profit margin to lower. So I know I used to work for Mercedes. They have a 6% profit margin, about 6%, 6.5% from list to invoice. And then from, invoice, we have something called holdback. So if we got to give away every car at invoice, holdback is how you pay your bills. It's how you keep the lights on. If you gave away every car at invoice price, you're not making a profit, but the holdback allows you to cover your bills and expenses to stay in business. Once you give up all your holdback, you have nothing. You're literally, it's called, you got from list price, MSRP, to invoice price, from invoice price to what's called triple net. Triple net means if I go below this, I make nothing, zero. I lose money, actually. So they don't have that $11,000 to give up. They might eat some of it, but I don't see them eating all of it. Just my opinion. I could be wrong, but I don't see the numbers being able to allow them to not raise the price. We shall see. Great question. All right, we'll stay on top of it. Go ahead, Dolan. Oh, we got a lot of questions coming in. I see you, Nikki. I see you, S-Baby. Saab, we're going to get to you on Instagram. A lot of questions coming in. What's your advice for young people buying their first car if they want to finance? Don't. I'm gonna tell you why. I got an 18-year-old daughter, I got a 20-year-old niece, and then I got a young man who I view like a son, and he's 20. All of them have, well, my daughter didn't call me for a car, but we're gonna be getting her a car soon. And I've talked to my niece and I've talked to this young man in the last 2 months about cars. I'm going to steer them in a direction that I know most people aren't going, because what they typically do for a young person their age is they're going to go out and do one of three things. They're going to probably get a cheap used car if they can save up some cash, $2,000. Now they got a beater. That's okay. There's a place for a beater. I had a beater. Who's had a beater? Who's had a beater? We come from a generation where if you didn't have a beater, you missed out. You didn't have a car that broke down on you, you missed a great part of living. You didn't have a car that you were on your way to work and, transmission went out because you only paid $1,500 for it. You missed so much of what could have made your life so colorful. No, that's what most people do. If we could avoid that for our children and for our young generation, we're going to do that. But it is one option. Second option is they're going to go finance a used car. Now, if they go finance a used car, depends on if they have credit, they're going to pay more for it. If, let's say, they got credit, let's say, that you help them get their first credit card, they got a 670 credit score and, they got some options. You might co-sign for them. Now, all right, let's go get you a used car. Now we look and say, well, I want you guys to get into the habit of knowing what payments, when you say a monthly payment, I want you to know how much car that can get you. So if I said $400 a month, who's been following me long enough to know about how much car that would be? $400 a month. See, give y'all some time. And it goes back to the rule that we teach about every $5,000 being about how much per month. Now, the Black King, you're talking about leasing. We can get a $35,000 car for $400 a month. If you ain't getting $3,500, you can get a $35,000 car buying it for $400 a month. We can just divide 35,000 by 60, which is a 5-year loan, and we can see that's 583. So we're way over. And that's what, and the reason the Black King, see, I like that you wrote that, because the reason why we talk about this, and I give you guys these principles, like, a lot of people who know, they've been around, they know. Thank you, Maz. You got it, Maz. Maz wins the prize. Maz wins the prize, 20K. So now, 20K is about what $400 a month is going to get you. So now, let's look at this. Every $5,000 is about $100 per month. So if your young person comes to you and says, I'm working a job, I think I could afford about, between 3 and 4 comfortably. What they just told you is I could afford between $15,000 and $20,000. We haven't even factored in the taxes, but this is on a 5-year loan. So the reason why I want y'all to automatically default to a 5-year loan is because it keeps you safe. 6 years is the longest we want to go on a car loan. If you don't have a default, then someone will convince you that they can get you to your car payment, but next thing you know, you're in an 8-year loan. And you're trying to figure out, how did I get in an 8-year loan for a car? It's because you went in and you said, I want to be at $400 a month, but you're looking at a $30,000 car. And they know that that doesn't add up. So the only way they can get you to $400 a month is to manipulate the number of months you're going to be paying. That's it. So now they've stretched you out. A lot of people don't ask those questions. They just drive off and say, okay, I got to my payment. I got a good deal. No, you didn't. You got a horrible deal because you're paying on this car for 7 or 8 or 9 years, some of them. So that's why we default to 5. And defaulting to 5 allows us to see every $5,000 is $100 per month. So now let's go back to the scenario with our young person here. So we compared a beater car to a used car, $300 to $400 a month. So now let's see, well, what does $300 to $400 a month get us on a lease? Black King said it. Good lease deal, good lease program, good support from the bank. You using a bidding system, $300 to $400 a month gets you a $35,000 car. We see it all day long. All day long. India got her car. She got a Hyundai Elantra Limited. It's $28,000 vehicle. She got it for $365 a month. No money down. Shop multiple offers. Got a great lease deal. That's a below market lease. So when I look at putting our young people in used cars for $15,000 to $20,000 that they're not going to keep, which means when they come to you in 3 years and say, Mom, Dad, I want to get out of this car, get me something a little newer, I'm making some more money. Now you're going to show them well, son, daughter, you're about to experience your first lesson in negative equity, because we're going to go and look to trade that car in. And you're going to find out that the amount you owe on that car is not what the car is worth. You might still owe $12,000 and the car is only worth $9,000, or you might owe $7,000 and the car is worth $4,000 or $5,000. You're about to teach them a lesson, but these are bad lessons. You'd much rather, if possible, put them in a car that they can drive brand new warranty, new everything, latest technology, latest safety features, $3-something a month. You put them in a car like India got, You think I wouldn't put my daughter in a Hyundai Elantra Limited? $365 a month, no money down? And this was my life. I'm trying to get y'all to just look. I'm not a genius. My experience was I got into the car business at 22. I'm 41 now. At 22, I didn't understand leasing. I had a buy here, pay here car that I got, and I thought it was a good deal. And it was. It lasted me a good 6 years. I paid $3,500 for it, $50 a week. And then when I came into the car business, my manager said, hey, we needed another car because we had just had a baby. My wife had just had a baby. And I said, hey, I need to get something more reliable for my wife. I was thinking about buying a used Pontiac Grand Prix. Me and my wife laugh about it today. We went to the dealership. They would not approve us. I had a good job. For whatever reason, God did not let them approve us. I went to my manager and I said, it's so funny. We tried to get this Pontiac. He said, hey, have you thought about leasing here? And I said, no, I don't really know about it. That's how untrained I was. He walked me through that lease. I got a 2020. No, I got a 2007 Pontiac G6, $20,000 vehicle for $268 a month. Changed my life. Because my friends at 20, 21, 22, they were out there buying used cars and buying new cars and paying $400, $500, $600 a month for them. I'm paying $258. They think I'm paying what they're paying, but I'm not. And 6, 7 leases later, here I am trying to educate people on when leasing is right for them. And so to answer your question, I know it was a long answer because we're not talking about, $5 widgets here. We're talking about the second most expensive purchase that most people are going to make in their life. So we can't expect to get everything we need to save $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 on these purchases in a 30-second soundbite. But that's the scenario. I'm leased every single one of these children, and I know they're young adults, but I call them children, is going to lease a car in the next couple months. And they're going to drive a brand new car at 18, 19, 20, 21, just like I did at 22. And now they won't talk to their children or their friends about bad advice. The only thing they'll know is when I was 19, when I was 20, when I was 18, I was in a brand new car and I had a very affordable payment. How'd you do that? I learned about leasing. So that's my advice for young people. Everything you want to know about leasing is in my new digital book. It's called Cars from Home. 7 Steps to Save Time, Money, and Avoid Dealerships. Step 1 in my process is the lease versus buying question. So whether you are shopping with me in our virtual shopping program, where you're going through all my videos, that Shop with Deshone, you can get all this info in my bios, TikTok bios, or in my YouTube comments or Facebook comments or the Instagram bio. Whatever you need, we make it available. Some people, you're a do-it-yourself type. That's my book. Some people, you're a do-it-with-me type. That's our Shop with Deshone video checklist, and then we have coaching calls, and we have a Facebook group. Some of you are like, Deshone, can you do it for me? We have that. If you have good credit and you're shopping for a new car, you might qualify for our Done For You program, all in our bio. But in any case, we never will let you and we have some free advice in there. If you go to the link and you're just like, Deshone, I want some free advice, you can grab my cheat sheets. You can start there. So in any case, I will not in good faith let you move forward with a purchase and you're not keeping that car 8 years. I'm not going to co-sign it. I'm not going to encourage it. In fact, I'm going to discourage it. And I'm going to let you know how much that's going to cost you. You're going to pay the same amount, if not more, than you would have paid if you got a good lease deal. On top of that, you are going to drive a worse car because your car is not going to have a warranty. You're going to have to deal with brakes and tires and maintenance and repairs and things that you deal with when you purchase a car that you don't deal with when you lease a car in many cases. Okay? Good question. Let's go to the next one, Dolan. We got a lot of them. S Baby Side on Instagram is asking questions. We got a lot of questions coming in. Carlos Marquez sending likes on TikTok. Thank you so much. Man, y'all running the likes up. Every time you hear something you like, if you could double tap the screen, we appreciate it. You'll see those likes continue to run up. I have a 4-year BMW. So I'm guessing I have a 4-year BMW with 7,900 miles. You're saying I should have leased since I don't keep it past the warranty period. No, you should have leased because you're not keeping it more than 8 years. Forget the warranty period. A lease is not made for, oh, if I only want to, if you keep cars 3 years, you should lease. Yes. If you keep cars 5 years, you should lease. Yes. If you keep cars 7 years, you should lease. Yes. If you keep cars 8 years, should you lease? No. That's why it's called the 8-year rule. Because what we're dealing with is drastic depreciation. So nobody know who pays cash for their cars when they purchase them. Type cash. Where's my cash buyers at? We always get a couple. Some people just, man, Deshone, I'm a cash buyer. I don't do loans. I don't do nothing. I buy my cars. I pay cash for them. Where my cash buyers at? Type cash. Let us know. Good to see you, MFP. Christy, checking in on Instagram. Not too many cash buyers, but we usually, okay. You might not have any today, no cash buyers. Okay. So check this out. Let me tell you something about cash buyers and how it's much more simple to understand the 8-year rule for a cash buyer. Because when you slap $20, $30, $50,000 cash on a car transaction, then you come back 4 years later, 5, and you see what that car is now worth, you tend to pump your brakes a little bit. Because you see, wait, I paid 40, and now you're only giving me 18? You're only giving me whatever now. Now, no one doesn't see this like payment shoppers is what we call you. And so we'll go to our managers and say it's a payment shopper. There's nothing, they don't need to understand anything. In fact, if you try to teach them to understand something about this, they are payment focused. Therefore, unfortunately, you could be easily manipulated. So when someone comes in and hears that they're only giving you 30% of what you paid for the car 6 years ago or 5 years ago, you paid cash, it's like, whoa, man, I lost a lot of money on this car. But when you've just been paying $600 a month, $400 a month, and then you come in, we present the same deal to you. It's the same loss. It's the same drastic loss in this value. But here's the good news, Mr. Johnson. You don't even hear that. Because all that's going to come to you is what? Mr. Johnson, great news. You said you wanted to be at $590 a month. We got you there. Whose name is the new car going in? Oh, that's great. You're not realizing you just lost huge money on your car. You're not realizing that because you're payment focused. I teach you how to see the numbers. Even when we shop for a car that we're getting a loan on, we shop as an all-in number. We shop the bottom line out the door price. And when we shop for our cars, step 2 in our process is we don't trade cars. That's a curse word here. We do not trade cars. Because if you trade cars, you did not bid. You didn't get a bid. And everything we do in Cars from Home is a bid. It's just a different mind. It's a totally different, it's oil and water. Oil over here, water over here. They don't mix. That's why I said everybody who's teaching you online about cars, if they're not teaching you how to, when you go to buy a new car, get bids. If they're not teaching you how to, when you go to lease a new car, get bids. If they're not teaching you how to, when you are ready to get rid of your current car, get bids. When you are ready to get a loan from a bank for your car that you're buying, get bids. We are not the same. Bids is where our confidence comes from. Bids is when you see people that you see me sharing bids. So in relation to your deal with your BMW, If you, watch this, here's the beautiful part about leasing. If the value drops through the floor like some Teslas did, you give it back to the bank. It's your problem. You're not invested in the entire car. The bank is. I'm going to drive this car. I'm going to pay cents on the dollar compared to purchasing. And then when I'm done with it, let's just say I'm like you and I only got 7,900 miles on it. What can I do? Some of you who've been following me and some of you who may have cashed out, we taught you how to do this. We've been teaching you how to do this since 2021 when the pandemic was going. If there's equity in your car because it either has a high resale value or it has low mileage, what do? We cash out, we get our equity. I've helped thousands. I think that's probably what I became known for first. Before my first, once my first video blew up on TikTok, praise God, I think the first thing that really made me somebody that people said this guy gets us results is when I was helping people sell their leases and make $5,000, $7,000, $10,000, $12,000. So if I'm you and I leased, I paid a. See, the thing about you is you have equity now because you have a high number. I don't know if you have a loan on the truck, but I mean, or how much, if you have a super long loan, you might not have equity, but in most cases you probably do. You've had the vehicle 4 years. There are cases where you might not have equity if you leased it, but let's just assume you have equity now. But the problem is you paid so much money. Now you're trying to just get some back. You paid so much money to buy the BMW. Now you're looking and saying, well, I didn't use it that much. You paid so much money even though you didn't use it that much. So now you can sell it and say, all right, I get some of that money back. But had you leased it, you would have had a lower payment, less money by the thousands coming out of your household every month, and you still could have sold it and put the money in your pocket for the equity. It's a win-win. So leasing is a hedge against when the values drop. If the value drops in this car, I would have preferred that I leased that car, not bought it. If I bought a Tesla before they fell, or an electric vehicle before the values crashed through the ground like a boulder in the water, then I lost. But if I had leased those vehicles and then the values tanked, I got a super low payment. I'm happy. I'll give it back to them in 3 years when I'm done. It's their problem. You deal with the fact that the value tanked. But if the value went up, oh, now I'll sell and cash out and I'll pick up that $3 grand, $4 grand, $5 grand. It's a beautiful thing. All of this I teach in a step-by-step way. I teach a 7-step system. In my new digital book, Cars from Home, 7 steps. In my Shop with Deshone virtual checklist, where it's videos, 3 to 5 minute videos, I teach you how to get a car in, 90 minutes from home, 7 steps. So you can get my book 75% off in my bio. It's normally $97. You can get it for $24 for 30 minutes. And you'll have the entire system that we use to do this right from home. But we take everything you mentioned there, I take into account and more, which I hope you got from the answer to this question. Okay, so if you want your book, go grab your book. It's in my TikTok bio, Instagram bio, the Facebook comments or the YouTube comments. And then, start your journey there, use it, and you'll be just like Maria, who used the book and she just got $13,000 off her GLC coupe. And I know it's tons of people on this live who are going to watch it that got the same exact vehicle that Marie got. And they probably didn't get $2,000 off, much less $13,000 off. All right, let's go, Dolan. Next question. Patty liking. Thank you to everybody liking. Carlos Marquez with the #2 gifter badge on TikTok. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. All right, JDG Nicole on Facebook. Good to see you. Could everybody share this with your best friend? Because you don't want to mess around and your best friend is getting a car this week or next week, and now they're out here shopping and you're on this, and they're like, wait, you shouldn't listen to this guy, Deshone. And they're like, man, I never heard of him. You're like, yeah, I watch your stuff. Why didn't you tell me about them? So share this with your best friend so that we can help them too. All right. JDG says, credit union gave me a pre-approval, so I know what to budget. Do I go to another to compare interest rates, or do I let the dealership run my credit? This is a great question. We never want anyone running our credit with a hard pull before we find our car. Never. And this is so common because the banks have now conspired. Let me see how I want to explain this. Back when no one was talking about pre-approvals, all pre-approvals were soft pull, or most of them. When no one really was focused on needing a pre-approval, everything. Who remembers you used to walk into the remember we could walk into our banks and we would see the brochures there, and it would say rates start at 3.9 or 4.29. You just grab the brochure. Remember that? Who remembers that? Who remembers that? Brochures. You walk into the bank and you can see what their introductory rates are. The question I ask people is, where do you get your car loan from? When they say, oh, I get it from the dealership, I get it from my credit union, I get it from my bank, those are all wrong answers. And I'm going to tell you why. You know what your answer should be? Whoever gives me the lowest rate. Whoever gives me the lowest rate. So how now do we get to that end? We teach something called the bank bidding war. Remember, everything we do is a bid. Credit bureaus allow you to. You can Google Experian rate shopping, and you'll see that they have something they call, or that we call, a rate window. The rate window allows you to have multiple banks and credit unions run your credit within a certain period. They say from 14 to 45 days. So you know we err on the side of 14. And within that 14-day period, you can have multiple people access your credit with a hard pull. And then at the end of that period, it will weigh on your credit as one hard pull. Because one hard pull will lower your score. So if one hard pull lowers your score, then we don't want multiple hard pulls. So every time you shop for a car, you should be expecting one hard pull lowering my credit. But when you do the bank bidding war the way we teach, you are going to have multiple people access your credit with a hard pull within that window, and it will lower your credit the same points as the one hard pull. Type dollar signs if y'all want me to go deeper with this. Type dollar signs, because again, what I love about what God has us doing is no one teaches what we do. In fact, most of what we do is proprietary. We are actually branding it, trademarking it. This is our intellectual property. The 8-year rule, the rule of 72 on the 10th birthday, the bank bidding war, the counter offer calculators we invented. All of this stuff we've invented. So that's why you'd be like, man, I'm watching. I don't really hear people talking about the 8-year rule. That's because they can't use it without telling me, hey, Deshone, I like this 8-year rule. Can we teach on that? Sure you can. Just make sure you cite the source. But we invented these things. We invented boundaries based on math. So now when you look and see the rate window and you say, all right, if they're going to give me a certain period of time to allow multiple people to access my credit, then how do I make sure that that's the only time I'm letting banks access my credit? You have to it's after you find your car. So what you did, Nicole, if they gave you the pre-approval with a soft credit pull, you got the right idea, because now you can budget. Like you said, that's the only purpose for a pre-approval, is to budget. Just like when we go house shopping, we get a pre-approval. They say, hey, you're approved for a 4.9% mortgage on a $400,000 house, and here's what your monthly payment's going to be for 30 years. Budgeting. Now go find your house. This is what it should be with cars. So when we do it, we are getting a soft credit pull. In our case, we have a calculator where it's called the perfect budget calculator. And you put in, we use the average interest rate. Because if we can, I'm telling y'all, these banks are getting less and less likely to give you a pre-approval with a soft pull. Less and less likely. Because they're trying to hook you. Everyone wants to hook you, put shackles on you, keep you from shopping. That's the whole goal. So if you come in and you get a pre-approval, good to see you, Kenneth, checking in on TikTok. If you come in and you get a pre-approval and you let us run your credit with a hard pull, now you started that rate window. You've opened up the rate window. So you only have a certain period of time left before that rate window closes. And then if you let them run your credit again with another hard pull, your credit's going down more. Your credit's going down more. So that's why we say to ourselves, no one touches my credit with a hard pull until after I finish my bid. And then once I finish my bid, I find my car, you won the bid. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a buyer's order, a purchase agreement, take those numbers, take them to my bank, take them to my credit, give them to my credit union, and then I'm going to let all these banks and credit unions have a shot at my business. And some of you know who's tried to get a pre-approval and they told you, well, please give us the information on the car. Can you give us the VIN number? Can you give us give us all the details on the car? I got to check something real quick. Give me 10 seconds. But who's had that happen? You're trying to get a pre-approval. You call your bank, you call your credit union, and they say, okay, give us all the information for the car. Who's had that happen? Give me 10 seconds. Okay, let's explain why that makes no sense. So I see Judy Trice has had it happen. I see what looks like Judy, you're the only one it's happened to. No one else. Oh, let me find out y'all not getting pre-approvals. Listen, I can't assume. Man, listen, it's still, we probably still have a majority of people that are letting dealers get you your loans. And unfortunately, that's even worse. Because now you have somebody who has a vested interest in making money on you, who is actually shopping for you, saying, all right, let me see how I can save you the most money and which bank I could get you the best deal from. What that looks like from the 80%, let me see which bank we can make the most money getting this deal done with. That's what that looks like. So I see Mez Washington. All right, so a couple people have had this happen. That's why we never want to even go to them until we have all of this information ready in the first place. Because if I had the information on the car, then I wouldn't need the that's the whole point. I'm getting the pre-approval so that I can go find my car. I don't have it yet. So that's why what we do is we'll use the average interest rate. You can budget based on the average interest rate. Whatever the average interest rate is, if you have good credit, use that if the average interest rate on a new car is 6.2, use that for your budgeting. Use that for your planning. That's what we do. All through my book, all through Cars from Home, Shop with Deshone, my coaching program. That's what we use. Average, because we're not letting anyone run our credit with a hard pull. So then, once we have that, that's our budget. Then we go shop for our car. In fact, I have a calculator in my book and in my program that gives you when you tell us how much you want to pay per month, how much down payment you have or don't have, how much your trade-in is worth, what state you live in, and what you want, how long of a loan you want. You plug in the average interest rate, and it gives you 6 different goals to make sure you stay under your budget. It gives you 2 no money down goals, and then it gives you goals with a 5-year loan, a 6-year loan, because if you get a car with a 5-year loan, you save more money than if you got it with a 6-year loan. So it creates these goals for you. It's called the perfect budget calculator. So Then we go find our car. Once we find our car, that's when we bring the purchase order home. We let everybody have a shot at our business. Let's go. Have at it. Whoever wins, let's go, fellas. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm the prize. We're the prize. Who wants to be the prize? Type the gift emojis if you're on your phone. Every time we get cars, I want you to be the prize. That means people are competing for you. Please do business with me. Do business with me. Here's my offer. Here's my offer. Here's my offer. Not you going in and begging somebody to take $30,000 of your money. Please, can you make this just a little easier? Hey, can you take off $500 so I can give you $30,000 of my money? Come on, could you just come on? Could you get me to this so I can give you $50,000 of my money? Begging them to give them your money. No, we flip that script. So when we come home, banks are bidding, and then after the banks bid, now we call the dealership. Hey, John. All right, good news. My bank gave me 5.29. I told you if you guys could beat it, I'll give the business to you. You guys want to, you want a shot at it? Sometimes the finance manager will say, listen, that's a good rate. You just, you could just go with that. We can't beat that. And sometimes the finance manager will run it to their banks and they'll match it or they'll beat it. In which case you've now had, even more people competing. So the bank bidding war is several rounds and the dealer is the last round. And that's how we know, and we change our answer when people say, yo, who do you get your loan from? It's not my bank. It's not my credit union. It's not the dealer. It's whoever gives me the best rate, which is another way of saying whoever wins the bid. Okay? All of this is in my new digital book, Cars from Home, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealership. If you want your copy, it's 75% off for 30 minutes only. That's our welcome offer. And you can get it in my TikTok bio, Instagram bio, YouTube comments, Facebook comments. We break this down in 7 steps. I'm not teaching you, to get cars in weeks and days. And I teach you to get cars in days. The stuff I teach, once you learn this, you're getting cars in 90 minutes, 2 hours of your time from home. We're not spending days and days shopping for cars. I got too much stuff I love doing to be spending time shopping for cars. And that's how you're going to be. All right, go ahead. Great question, JDG. Let's go. And by the way, those of you who are like, Deshone, I'm more of a do-it-with-you person. We have a couple things in our bio for you. You can get free advice. You can get do-it-with-you. I shop with people all around the country, and my Cars from Home Shop with Deshone program, where instead of reading, you're going to have a video checklist. Most of the videos are 3, 5 minutes, 7 minutes, and it's broken down step by step. And then we have a private Facebook group, and then we have now. So somebody like let me show, because I love her. Her and Sheree are right now, and Jeff, because I heard Jeff got 4 cars. I messaged him yesterday in our group, and I said, Jeff, you on your 4th car? And so I'm waiting to hear back. In which case he'll become, these are our most successful graduates. When you use our stuff and you get your car, you're a graduate. Now, what you notice about Rosalie is y'all will hear me talk about Rosalie last year when she got her Infiniti QX60. Now, Rosalie got her Infiniti QX60. Where's her post? Here it is. She got her Infiniti QX60, and it was a $60,000 truck. She got it for $592 a month on a lease, no money down. She saved probably $9,000 off the vehicle. So even if some of you are like, Deshone, I hear you talking about leasing, but can you save us money on the purchase? What? Purchasing is easier. Because in order for you could get $9,000, $10,000 off a vehicle, and if the bank has a bad lease program, the payment sucks. So the dealer could be like, oh, I'm taking tons of money off, but the program is terrible. That means they're not supporting the lease program. Therefore, I'm walking away from that. That's where the 1.5% rule comes in. Some of you know that. So when we look and we say, all right, if we got people getting $10,000 super low lease payments, then saving $5, $6, $7 grand on a purchase is a layup. Okay, so let's go back to Rosalie. So that was her first car, but she needed 4 cars because she has 3 sons. and all of them needed cars in a year. So I'm like, just trust the process. You've already done it once, just step by step. Literally, she posts 3 deals at once that she made. She says, big shout out to Deshone the Auto Advisor for making these incredible deals happen. I created the process. She trusted the process. So it's a team effort. 3 new leases for my son with only first month's payment out of pocket. These are sign and drive. These are no money down leases. Nissan Rogue, $36,000, $640 MSRP, $399 she got. This is for, she says, for my oldest, his first self-paid car. Isn't it nice when you can put your son in a beautiful new car that they can afford? Friend of mine, when he first met me 3 years ago, he said, Deshone, man, what you teach, man, I remember my dad brought me a new, I think he said a Mustang, something. It was a used one. It was a used one. And he said he bought me like a Mustang. It was like, $20,000. And I was paying like $450 a month. And it was a used one. And I would have much rather just been leasing something for $450 if I was going to, pay that money. Exactly. So now we go back here. Mazda CX-30 Sport, $28,295 vehicle. She's got it for $339 a month. That's a 1.2 lease. The first one was a 1% lease. It's Mazda CX-550 Premium Plus, MSRP, $40,000 vehicle. Rosalie got it for $420 a month. That's a 1% lease. And the cherry on top, I sold 2 leases. She sold 2 leases, 2021 Elantras, Hyundai Elantras, to We Buy Any Cars, and walked away with $6,737 in equity. That means cash. They cut her a check for $6,700 total for those 2 cars. So she did 2 deals she did 3 no money down deals, got $6,000 up front, probably can ding, 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 ding. Her and Sheree got 4 cars. Sheree got 2 new cars, 2 leases, and 2 used cars for her children. So when we look and say predictable, repeatable, the more you use our process, the more confident you are. That's what we want. It's people you've been listening to on social media for 3 years. You're no closer to owning this process than you were when you first met them. You're no closer to empowered car shopping than you were when you first met them. Because what they're trying to teach you is negotiating. They're trying to teach you how to go into dealerships and do battle. They're not teaching you how to sit at home, whether you're a woman, man, soft-spoken, hard-spoken, whether you're timid or you're an extrovert, it doesn't matter. Sit at home, let this computer work for you so that you can turn this market into a bid. So that's it. Let's go. More questions, Dolan. Let's go. That's it, Soul Goddess. Soul Goddess, you should be the prize. We are the prize. You get what I'm saying? Do you have to put money down to hold a car so the dealership will hold it for you? Now, yes, you can't secure a car that's on the way without a deposit. There's no deal until you have a deposit. So if I'm picking up a car tomorrow, then maybe the dealership won't require a deposit. But if I'm writing up a deal, once I submit my credit, and it's going to be, okay, I'm going to pick it up next week. Or it's going to be, hey, we have this car coming. It'll be here next month. Would you leave a deposit on it? Yes. Here's where we don't leave deposits and where dealerships will try to get you to leave a deposit when we can't get a price. This happens more often with leasing. This is why leasing is a more complex scenario. Easy for us, but when it comes to purchasing, you want to really understand that purchasing is simple, because if they have a Toyota Highlander and it's coming next month, how much are you going to sell it to me for? We get our bids, we make our deal. I got a Toyota Highlander coming next month. I'm going to knock off $5,000 for you. Perfect. All right, you won the bid. Here's my deposit. Let me know when it arrives. Leasing, they can't give you a price because in many cases, they don't know what the lease program is going to be next month. So if they tell you, yeah, this month, here's your lease payment. But when the car gets here next month, we don't know what it's going to be. We have a client that's happened. We have tons of clients. That's a regular occurrence. If you're shopping for a car that is limited inventory, and I mean limited inventory, not because you went to 2 dealers. We shop 25 dealers. So what I teach you to do, our whole process for a new car or a lease is shopping 25 dealers. We got a totally different process for used cars. It's called the multiple marketplace strategy. Our new car strategy is called the 25 to 5. So we're going to reach out to 25 dealers online, and our goal is 5 offers, because we know 80% are overpriced or not going to have what I want. So our goal is to get 5 offers. So now when we look and we say, okay, out of all of these offers that we're going to get, some people will have a car and some people will say, well, I have a car coming. If you can't give me an offer on that car and tell me what my lease payment would be, I'm not leaving a deposit, because I'm not going to leave a deposit on a car, wait a month, take myself out the market, then the car gets here and I see the lease payment and I'm like, oh, that's just a bad lease program, or that's a bad lease deal, or whatever. No, I need to know what my lease payment will be. So that's the only time where we're not going to leave a deposit, is on an inbound vehicle that we cannot get a price on. We can't get a lease offer on. That's it. But anything else, yeah, shop, get our offers, make our deal, reserve the car. Absolutely. Never reserve the car without a buyer's order. And every time we leave a deposit, if you're not taking that car that day, that buyer's order needs to say deposit refunded if car is not delivered. Deposit is refunded if the car is not delivered. Who's at a dealership trying to tie up their deposit? It took you weeks to get it back. This is how we avoid these things. Okay? Let's go. Let's keep it going. Hey, I don't think you might be at a TikTok. Y'all running the likes up. Thank you to everybody double tapping. Every time y'all double tap the screen, y'all just run the likes up. Now, we could use a little bit more likes on YouTube and Facebook. Can we hit those like buttons? Because we got a lot of people watching. Because some of you who are watching, hit that like button and run the likes up. Instagram too. Appreciate y'all. And thank you if you shared this with your best friend. I just saw, who did I just saw? Tag Gina. Gina. Thank you so much, Nikki, for tagging Gina Pena. I just appreciate the community of people that helps us get this information out. I ain't got nothing against you coming here for yourself. I want you to win. But once you've started winning and once you've seen this, listen, you know, you know this market. You know, you understand. You don't have to be a car person or even on this broadcast to see that there's blood in the streets when it comes to these cars. And anyway, I appreciate the people that share. So thank you so much. Tanya, welcome. I see you. Tanya Algie, new follower. Welcome to the family. Welcome to the community. Go ahead, Dolan. Let's pull the next one up. All right, Deshone, do you personally help people? Or is it mainly watching you do the process and we learn? No, we have a team. So we have a done for you program. That's where we shop. You see if you qualify for that. New car, leases only, great credit, good credit. Got to be in the good credit range, and you can't have a lot of negative equity. 2,000, 3,000, that's it. If you qualify for that, go to my TikTok bio, Instagram bio, the Facebook comments, YouTube comments, open the Cars from Home toolkit. Hit, shop for me. That's the only case. In the cases where you're shopping with me, I'm teaching you how to fish. And that's been our business. That's been the Cars from Home company's business for the last 3 years, teaching you how to fish. That's why we're able to share people every day who are using what we teach, because they know how to fish. When we look at oh shoot, this is somebody in Jersey, and I didn't even wait, Jim. I didn't know Jim was in Jersey. He got his Kia, $36,000 vehicle, $439 a month. Multiple offers. You see here, look, you saw Rosalie. Alex, 2025 Tucson, Hyundai Limited. And the hybrid limited. And they're ripping people for those hybrids. $42,000 vehicle, $580 a month, 1.3% lease. Save thousands to get the 1.3%. Those are the people who are watching me shop, and then we have a private Facebook group and we have coaching calls twice a month. So they're learning my process, how to get these cars in 90 minutes, and then they run with it forever because you have lifetime access to my, you don't have lifetime access to coaching because you don't need that. The coaching is 6 months with me twice a month because I'm teaching you the process. Once you learn it, where you get access to the group for lifetime. So we have over 1,600 people in our group. So, you know, when you'll see Sheree, you'll see Jeff, you'll see Rosalie, like everybody, Greg, Charlie, everybody who's been with us for 3 years got multiple cars in the group. And so, but we're that's you learning to do it, and then you're empowered. When we do it for you, 3 years from now, you need us to do it for you again. When your family needs a car, you need us to do it for you again, which is no problem because some people are just like, Deshone, I make the money, I pay for convenience. I rather, you know, that's what I'm here to do. That's why we created Cars from Home Done for You. For the people who are like, Deshone, look, time-wise, it costs me money to go shop because, you know, I'd rather be doing other things. I'd rather be making money. I'd rather be doing this. So I don't want to learn the process. I'll just pay you guys every time. In which case we produce something we call the Cars from Home Market Report, where we're reaching out 25 dealers to get 5 offers. And you can see in this particular one, you can see we shop for a Genesis for a client. And when we shop for the Genesis, Dolan, can you just take that comment down real quick so I can see the bottom of the spreadsheet here? So as you can see with this Genesis, thank you so much. As you can see with this Genesis GV80, we shot for a client. We shot multiple offers. In this case, we had enough dealers who had a match. I think this was about maybe 7, 8 dealers had a match. And you can see, this is the proof right here. And I hope you guys on TikTok will hop off and go to YouTube or go to Instagram just to watch this part. You can watch this part on the replay because this is how you should be shopping. Zeus, Zezus, welcome. I saw your new follower. Welcome to the community. This is how you should be shopping. See, because a lot of times when I say to y'all that 80% of dealers are overpriced, some of you don't believe me. Some of you do. And some of you are like, well, Deshone, I'm still going to go in and negotiate with my local dealer. Okay, you go ahead and do that. You're going to keep losing. Because we can see right here that Genesis of Spring, $973 a month. They're at a 1.5% lease. That was their offer. And this was their offer after we said, hey, we're shopping multiple offers. Hey, please give us your best offer. And so $973 a month, they give us a 1.5% lease. $899 a month, another dealer offered. $1,102 a month, Genesis of Northwest San Antonio offered. $1,066 a month, Genesis of Denton offered. $921 a month, Genesis of Littleton offered. $913 a month, Genesis of Mesquite. $1066, Genesis of Arlington. $996, Genesis of Weatherford. $873, Genesis of Edmond. Y'all notice how different that $873 sounds compared to the others? This is almost a $70,000 vehicle, by the way. So this is a $70,000 vehicle. Once you add your taxes, this is a $70,000 vehicle. Y'all see how different from all the other offers that is? What comes to mind when y'all hear that? That's the 20%. If you've been on the stream since we started, then what that should show you right there is that proves what we're talking about. That's the 20%. You can't walk into the 20%. I just showed you tons of offers that we got from the entire market, ranging from $873 all the way up to $1,066. If you're in that dealer at $1,066 and you're negotiating because you saw a dude on TikTok who said, listen, you can negotiate your way to a good deal. Now you see you're trying to use what you watched there. What are you doing? Where are you going with that $1,066 dealer? Thank you, Psychomaniac. Shared the broadcast. Appreciate you. Where are you going with the $1,066 dealer? Anybody want to tell us where we're going? Anybody? Let me pull it back up on the screen. You're in that $1,066. You're in Genesis. Look, because this is your closest dealer, South Point Hyundai, you're in there trying to negotiate. Look, this other dealer, Genesis of Northwest San Antonio. That happened to be the dealer closest to you. So you walked in and said, all right, I'm going to go back and forth. Man, they hit you at $11.02 a month. Where you going? Nowhere. Thank you. Nowhere. Going nowhere. Thank you, Jesus. Nowhere. So you cannot negotiate your way to finding the 20%. You must reveal the 20%. Look, Mez, Mez said straight to hell. That is exactly. Because if I pay $200 more per month for a vehicle that I could have got, and here's the beautiful thing. Let me show you one more thing, because the 20% are so sweet. They even go above and beyond, because we'll never accept an offer on a new car, a lease, or a used car without a counter offer. Even when we find our used cars, when I found my used car, it was a 3-year-old Infiniti QX60. It was the best price on the internet. It was based on the new vehicle price, which we always get on used cars. It was $54,000 new. I got it for $31,000. Had 26,000 miles on it. 3 years old, bunch of equipment, and the other ones didn't have all this equipment. So it was a 42% discount from when it was brand new. So now, even when I got there, I asked them, hey, could you take off another 1,000? They said, no, we can do 800. I said, perfect. Even if they would have said, no, we can't do it, we put our best price there, I would have said, no problem, I'll take it. Because I already knew coming there that they were the best. But we never buy a car without a counter offer. So when we look and we see, let's counter offer Genesis, who made us the best offer for our client. So we counter offer, and Genesis of Edmond comes down to $840. They said, we're going to even make it even sweeter for you. Instead of $873, we'll do $840. And that's what our client took. So from $1,066 that we saw dealers sticking to, why are they sticking to those payments? Why do you think that the dealers in this spreadsheet have the confidence to throw out numbers that they know are so high? Why do they have the confidence to know that they can make an offer to somebody that makes them $10,000 or $15,000 in profit, and they'll say, this is our best offer? That was a lease deal. This is a lease deal, Larissa, that we're talking about. Because people are paying it. Because people are paying it. If people weren't paying those numbers, if people were all shopping from home and seeing all the market and finding the 20%, starving the 80%, they would stop throwing those numbers out. But because they get tons of people that walk in the dealership throughout the week with no skills, try to negotiate their way to a deal, they'll say, we'll do it. Well, this is our best price for you. Because if you don't take it, I'll sell it for this price to this person. In fact, I might sell it for a little bit more. Because you've told us you're shopping our offers, and this is what we gave you. This person walking into our dealership is not even going to have an opportunity to shop, so we're trying to get them to take the car. When are we trying to get this person? Look, when you go into a dealership, when are they trying to get you to take the car home? Is it, oh, all right, yeah, take it next week. Is it? Yeah. Whenever it's convenient, you want to pick it up, next month. No, look, Nikki, same day. Thank you, Tish. Same day. Same day. Because if I can get you to take the car home the same day, I've completely taken away your ability to shop this offer. The worst thing I would want you is to, all right, we made a deal. Your payment on this Genesis, the payment on this is $970 a month. Let us know when you want to pick it up. You go out there later that day, you see something, and you're like, man, let me just decide to call another dealer. And another dealer says, I can get you to 900. Oh, wait a minute. There's other dealers that. So all everyone is trying to do is to get you to do the opposite of what Cars from Home teaches you to do, which is to shop and get bids. Everything that everyone of the banks, the dealerships, the credit union, the take the car today, Do not shop other offers. What can we do to get you? How much can we take off today to keep you from shopping? If I could lower the payment another 80 bucks, can we make a deal today so that you don't shop me, so that you don't shop offers, so that you don't get bids? That's the whole mindset. All right? And everything we're talking about, nothing is outside of my book. All I'm doing is teaching you out of our book. Cars from Home, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. Get your copy for 75% off. It's a digital book. And it's digital because every time I update it, you get the update. So some of you, I got tons of books here. Some of this stuff that I bought in these books might not be applicable anymore. And if it's not applicable, what do I got to do? Some of this stuff, look, I bought Tony Robbins' book, Money. It's a great book. He wrote it 10 years ago. Some things not applicable. What I got to do? Get another book. Volume 2. In our case, when we update something, we update it in the records, and then you get the update. So that's why it's a digital book. But yes, $24 if you get there within 30 minutes. If you miss the welcome offer, then it's $97, and it's a great price, great value for $97. That book is going to help you save thousands and thousands of dollars on your cars, every one of them. Every one of them. Okay, and if you prefer a step-by-step video checklist where you coach with me and you watch videos instead of reading, you're gonna go to the link in my bio, the Cars from Home Toolkit. Go to the link in the description that Dolan put for you guys, the link in the comments on Facebook and Instagram, Facebook and YouTube. Open the Cars from Home Toolkit and then click Shop with Deshone. And you'll be working direct with me. You'll be on coaching calls with us. You'll be in our Facebook group, and you have lifetime access to our leasing and purchasing video checklist. So just whatever works for you. We have free advice there too. Some of you who are just new here, maybe it's your first time seeing me, and like, Deshone, I'm not ready to pay you to buy any of your stuff. Cars from Home, I get it. Let's start out with our cheat sheets. That's fine. Start out with our free cheat sheets. But there's no excuse. We take away all excuses for you not being able to save thousands and thousands of dollars and have total confidence car shopping. All right, go ahead, Dolan. Let's get through a couple more. I think we got time for just a few more. Let's keep them coming. Let's go. Who shared the broadcast with somebody? Type me. If you shared this broadcast with somebody, type me in the comments. I like that. I'm going to start doing that throughout. Dolan, remind me, Dolan. Every stream, at least twice, I want to ask that question. Who shared this? Hit the share button. And who, I want to ask that. Thank you, Soul Goddess. Thank you, Teach20. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much. See, I always like to recognize. Hold on. Let's do that. Hold on. If anybody shared the broadcast, let us know. The Milo Adventures. Thank you so much on TikTok. Ah, man, I like that. Okay. This is going to be a regular part. Heather, thank you. Good to see you. Thank you so much. All right, go ahead. Let's go. What is a reasonable monthly payment for a $45,000 car for a lease for 48 months? We do not lease for 48 months. You're paying too long for a car you're giving back. And hold on one second. Let me put on Do Not Disturb. All right, perfect. All right. Soul Goddess, Tish, and the Milo Adventures. Because you three were the three that said that you shared the broadcast, all of you inbox me, and I'm going to give you a free copy of my digital book, okay? Because y'all were the three that said you shared, inbox me now, and all of you three have a free copy of my book. Thank you so much. I reward action takers because I know if you won't respond, if I can't get you to do certain things, then I can't get you to read the book and I can't get you to use our program. You get what I'm saying? So that's why I reward people who take action. You get what I mean? Like I'm very, very big on that. So you three, thank you so much. All right, let's go. We don't do 4-year leases. With a lease, the benefits are this: cents on the dollar compared to owning. So if I'm buying a $45,000 car, normally that would cost me how much? Everybody knows. Everybody, whoever knows. And if I see people sharing now, Deshone, I shared. Sorry, y'all know I asked that question too. Like, next time, be all right. So how much would that cost? Thank you, Living Life. 800. No, I'm sorry. No, 900. 900. Remember, every $5,000 is $100 per month. Remember that. So when you see 20,000, 400 a month, 40,000, 800 a month, 45,000, 900 a month. Now again, if you default to the 5 years, this is the rule, because what it allows you to do is say, all right, 6 years on a 6-year loan. All right, my payment will go from 900 to maybe close to 8. But you won't be coming in looking for 6. You won't be coming in looking for $700. Do you get what I'm saying? So normally purchasing this car would cost us $900 a month. If we leased it, we use something called the 1% rule to the 1.5% rule. The 1%, and it wasn't really a rule, but people have when I've been hearing about that for 20 plus years. If your lease payment was 1% of the MSRP or less, no money down. That means you're just giving them your first month payment, just like you saw Rosalie when we shared all 3 of her deals. 2 of them was 1% lease deals. Now you need a lot to get to a 1% lease, a 1% lease deal. You need a big discount from the dealer who wins the bid. We can get that with bids. That's no problem. But you need stuff that no one can control, which is what? Program from the bank. Rebates, incentives, low interest rate, good residual. That's the lease program. So the dealer can take off tons of money and not have, so that's why we don't bank on 1% lease deals. You never want to budget and say, well, if I could get a 1% lease deal, I'll take the car. You're setting yourself up for failure. Unless you just want to shop a bunch of different cars, which is cool. When you learn how to shop the way I teach, you can shop offers in 3 days. And you'll be like, okay, well, all right, I shopped those offers. I didn't like them. I'll shop another offer for a different car. But then you could say, all right, I'm only going to shop for a car that I can find a 1% lease deal on. That's fine. But what we like to do is expect 1.25 to 1.5 between that. When you shop all your offers, we want to budget 1.25 to 1.5. So you take your MSRP. If the MSRP is 45,000, and we type in, multiply that by 0.0125, $562 a month is the payment. Now we take it and we say, all right, $45,000 times 1.5, 1.015, 675. So between 562 or whatever I said and 675, that's a good deal. That's a good deal. Great value. And that's how you want to budget on how much a 3-year lease only, maybe 39 months we'll take. That's no problem. Nothing longer than that. Because you're eliminating all of those benefits of leasing: low payments, new car, I get a warranty. Anytime that things go wrong, I drop the car off. All of these benefits you're going to give away when you actually go into 4-year lease. Some of these benefits you're going to give away because 4-year leases, depending on the car you're buying, you're going to have no warranty at the end. And again, you're just paying way too much when you add up. Because some people say, Deshone, well, I got $550, but it's for 48 months. Add that up, it's $26,000. $26,400. No, it's not about what the monthly payment is. It's about how much I'm paying total for the car. No, I'm paying more than half the car. More than half of the car I'm paying, then I'm giving it back to you. All right, Tizcar. If you Liz, Tizcar, I'm gonna tell you this once. I think you came in the other day sharing this whole thing about ticker symbols. If this is something, if we're gonna have to get you up out of here. So, don't come. Let's control that. Promote your stuff somewhere else. I like you to be here in the community, but let's keep it focused. Don't come in here promoting anything to our audience. All right, let's go. What else we got, Dolan? Throw some more in. I'm a young man. How do I go about leasing with $680, $690 and down payment of $4K? Zezus. I'm sorry. I'm probably tearing your name. However, I said this wrong. I need you to do this, Zezus. Someone asked a question. It might have been our first or second question. We spent because my first of all, your credit qualifies. You have a down payment that you don't even need to use all of that. You might not even use $1,000 of that. Maybe what I need you to do is go listen to the beginning question on YouTube. Go watch the YouTube replay. Head over there now, Deshone the Auto Advisor, and just watch how we answered that question, because I have 3 people who I'm helping do the same thing. One of them is my daughter. She's 18. She gets her license in July. We're going to lease her a car. We're already building her credit. She'll be ready when we get there. My niece is 20. Same credit score as you. Has down payment money where she's not going to need it. She's going to lease. And then I have a young man who is like a son to me, 20 years old, similar situation. So we spent a good amount of time on that. Go watch the replay, get your questions answered. And then depending on what type of person you are, if you want free advice, go to my bio. If you want my step-by-step on how to lease. But if you don't do this right, someone is going to take all of that $4,000 and put you in a car that you might not be able to afford, because they're going to see you as young and ignorant. That's just the sad reality. So please go do that. Okay. Soul Goddess said I have to do the same thing for my sister. Listen, once we teach these young people how to get cars the right way, they'll change the whole thing, because they're not going to know the walk-in dealers. We learned from our previous generation, and we learned from what the market does. Let me ask you a question. Who taught you how to shop the way you shop? Who taught you how to car shop the way you car shop? Jesus said, I was told to finance all my life. Them adults don't know much about car buying. Put me on a panel. I can't sit here and act like what you're teaching is good. I can't, if I'm a little nicer about how you're teaching people to buy cars, they might think that what you're teaching them is actually not horrible. So I need to be straight up with the people and say, you are doing so much damage teaching people to go negotiate, teaching people that leasing is bad, that no one should lease, teaching people that even if you own your cars for 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, you should purchase them. If I don't teach people that you are destroying them with this advice, they might think that that's okay. Maybe I could go that route. I need to tell them that you're costing them $5 to $10 grand every car they buy. On top of that, they could be driving brand new cars, having a better experience. You got them in 5, 6, 7-year-old used cars paying the same money. These adults do not know much about cars, Jesus. So that's why I love to focus on people like you who will now, you've never learned anything. When you go out to get your car, my niece, my daughter, they only know one way. When somebody says, hey, we're going to a dealership, they're going to say, what are you talking about? No, we don't go to dealerships. My uncle showed me, we sat right at home. We sent some emails out. Next thing I know, 3 days, 4 days later, I was driving my car. I went in to test drive it to make sure I like it. I was there for 20 minutes. So learn the new way so that you don't have to unlearn. See, the reason why I wear unlearn, relearn is for the people who need to learn to unlearn. Like I can't teach, before I could teach them the good stuff, they got to unlearn everything that their parents or the industry taught them. So that's why I represent unlearn, relearn, because I literally can't put I can't put good advice, good strategy on top of bad strategy. So that's what you do. All right. Let's go. Okay. All right. Well, I think, listen, we approach an hour and a half. I think that was great. Listen, just so y'all know, let's wrap up with this. Tariffs are coming in about 90 days, they say. We'll see. But if they are, they're coming on import cars. And China right now is tariffed to the tune of 125%. That may go up by the time you're watching this, if you're watching a replay. So what you do is you have to determine that cars are going to be more expensive as time passes. Because the more cars come, every part, if there's components, and many components in cars coming from China. So if, let's say $3,000 worth of parts in the car get tariffed at 125%, that's double. You got to understand that is more than double. So that means to pay just to get those parts. Now, parts were normally $3,000. Now they're going to be figure $7,000 for the same parts. So even if the car is manufactured here in the US, your parts are going to drive the price up of the car. Therefore, just assume the longer I wait, the more prices will rise. But here's another thing to understand, that if you have a car right now, or if you have a lease right now and your lease is up in 6 months or a year, that as the prices on new cars rise, that the demand will now shift to used cars, and it will drive the price of used cars up. So when used cars go up, that means we're going to be selling our leases again for 5, 10, 12 grand again, just like we were back in 2021, because resale values are going to be very high because demand is going to be high, but supply is at the market appreciated. Put it like that. That's the best way to describe it. When the market appreciates, which means all the pricing on the new product goes up, that means a rising ship raises all sails. Rising tide, what's that saying? A rising tide raises all boats. Don't get me to saying stuff I don't understand. So that's the way it works. So what we're going to see, stay put. If you have a replacement car, stay put. If you don't, get in the market now. Get out of the market as soon as possible. That's what you want to be trying to do. Let me get in the market right now over the next 90 days. Yeah, we would prefer you to use our system so you can create a bid instead of going out and doing one-to-one, and then get out of the market fast as possible so that when this whole thing hits, you're like, hey, I'm glad I got my car. I ain't got to even think about this stuff for another couple years. All right. Everything you need is in the Cars from Home Toolkit. My book at 75% off. You can get it for $97. It's a digital book. It's 5-star rated. Some of you who've reviewed it on Google, on Goodreads, thank you. It's called Cars from Home. It's a digital book. 7-step system to get below market leases, new cars, used cars. A lot of stuff we didn't even talk about today. We didn't talk about used cars much. We didn't talk about high mileage driving. We didn't talk about, it's a lot of things we didn't talk about today, but we can't get to it all. But it's all in the book, step by step. You can, if you want to shop with me, as far as in my virtual program, instead of reading, you want a virtual checklist of videos and coaching program, Zoom calls twice a month, as well as our private group, that's Shop with Deshone. You can open the Cars from Home Toolkit in my TikTok bio, Instagram bio, YouTube comments, or the Facebook comments. And for those of you who qualify for Done For You, book a call with my team, see if you qualify, but it must be a new car or a lease, and you must have good credit, and you can't have a lot of negative equity. So you can't, we just had to disqualify somebody because they came with a car, they owed like 13,000 negative equity. They're now Shop with Deshone. I teach you all of that. If you have in my book, you got negative equity, no problem. Bad credit, no problem. But in Shop with Deshone, we have to have you have to qualify for that and if you want us to do it for you, we have a qualification for that. Everyone else, these other programs are for you. And for those of you who don't trust me yet, go get my free cheat sheets. You don't have to pay a dime. And then you can start your journey with us there and learning how to get cars from home with my free cheat sheet. So, all right. God bless you all. This has been great. Thank you, Dolan, for moderating. We will be back in a couple of days. And if you're watching a replay, hope you got value out of it. And we look forward to seeing you on the live. All right. God bless.